Retro Zone.
And welcome everybody to another episode of the Animanicast.
Fertile soil, cool water, a diverse biome, and a dominant species collectively unable to spell the word Mississippi. Human young are defenseless until the age of 12.
Mommy, bring me another pizza bagel.
And often, long after, they're sitting ducks. Don't believe me? Ask this typical human man.
I look forward to laboring under your rule.
Narf! I am the brain, and I am here to facilitate your hostile takeover of Earth using my superior intellect and knowledge of local customs. In exchange, allow me to rule in your stead after you've colonized it. Come, join me, and together we'll...
I wanna dance, I wanna dance, I wanna dance, dance, dance until my limbs fall.
Pinky, you recorded over my invitation to hostile intelligent life across the universe.
Yes, with an invitation to boogie down. I Want to Dance is the hit of the summer.
And welcome everybody, once again, to the Animanicast. This is the podcast that is dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs, as well as other shows in the Rugerverse, such as Tiny Toon Adventures, Pinky the Brain, and Freakazoid. And here we explore the series episode by episode. We talk about all the cultural references and gags that we can find, and of course, in the end, we give every episode a Water Tower rating. Today we're talking about episode 6 of the Animaniacs Reboot. I am Joey, and joining me once again are my co-hosts, my brother Nathan.
I want to dance, dance, dance until my limbs fall off.
Oh. And across the country in Georgia, it's Kelly.
Hello.
Hello. Well, we're at episode, I think this is 199. Wow.
Oh.
Episode 199
like,
of
this
our
is episode
podcast.
6.
No. Nathan, I know we're doing a Zoom video right now. And Nathan literally did look very confused. What are you talking about? We're episode 199 of our podcast. We're about to hit our 200th episode. And we have something very exciting to do. We're going to be starting something off. I'd love to tell people more about it right now, but we're not going to. Because it could...
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week, and hopefully it's there.
Yeah. Otherwise,
sorry.
Fooled you.
Fooled you. No, but today, we'll talk about this is episode 199. So we're just doing the reboot stuff. Once again, we're doing episode 6 this time. And episode 6 features the Cutening, Close Encounters of the Worst Kind, and Equal Time. And Nathan and Kelly, if someone were to ask you about this episode, how would you describe it? What would you tell them? Kelly, let's start with you this time.
It's kawaii, and it has a Spielberg reference.
Yes. And Nathan, what about you?
I would say it's a musical episode. Every segment has some sort of music in it.
This is true. See, here's the thing. Equal Time has a musical thing in it? I guess it does for a moment.
States and capitals.
Yeah, for a moment.
For half a second. So I count it.
Okay, sounds good. Well, as we all know, this episode is part of the reboot, and so therefore it premiered on Friday, November 20th of 2020, the best year ever. We're just about to close out 2020. Oh, man. What a year 2020 has been.
Go down in infamy.
Yes, it will.
Best year.
Oh, boy. But I'm sure as soon as 2021 hits, everything will be perfectly fine once again. But hopefully at least much, much, much better. Because I know it's been a very tough year for everybody. But let's talk about November 20th. Specifically, let's get to our November 20th trivia.
Oh boy.
Nathan, we have never done the November 20th trivia theme song. And Nathan, I know you wrote it. So
Yep,
Nathan, why don't you hit us with the November 20th trivia theme song?
NOVEMBER 20. NOVEMBER 20. This is the November 20th theme song.
Yeah.
I've missed your songs. You haven't done it.
Well, keep forgetting to ask Nathan for them, so that's totally my fault.
And I keep reminding you too.
I know. As soon as we're done with every episode, Nathan's like, I had my song already.
And I was like, can we just like record it and put it in post? And he's like, nope.
Can't do it. Too much work. Well, Nathan, what happened? Give us a November 20th trivia. What's going on?
All right. Okay. 1994. David Crosby, singer, got a liver transplant. 1995. What?
I was going to say, I do remember that. David Crosby getting a liver transplant. I do remember that was news.
A new Beatles recording comes out in 95. Free as a Bird began airing on radio stations. The song was debuted on ABC TV the night before. This was in Beatles history. Also, 1997, Kenny G receives a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Can you tell what the common theme of my my November 20th? Music. Because I said this is a musical episode.
Oh, wow. It all worked.
If there's other music episodes later, I have more music.
Okay,
notes,
good.
But I'll save them, I guess.
But yeah, Free as a Bird, really like that song. In fact, and Kenny G, I really can't say anything positive about the guy, so I'll just keep moving. But Free as a Bird, great song. And I just saw Peter Jackson is doing a documentary on the Beatles, and they had like a little promo they put up on Disney Plus, and it looks really cool.
Oh, is that what that was? I saw the icon, but didn't.
Yeah, I went and pressed play, and it was just like I guess it's coming to theaters, and it's a bunch of footage of them, like never before seen footage of them jamming and doing stuff, and it sounded really cool because they're playing some music, and so I'm excited about that. So, yay Beatles! I don't know what else to say about that.
Kenny G is the best jazz musician. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy,
fight me! No.
Well, let's go ahead, and before we get into our talk about the cutening, we got a new variable verse, and if I'm not mistaken, which I have not seen, I'm really taking my time on this reboot, which I think kind of speaks to my enthusiasm about it. But the variable verse is different, and I believe all the variable verses, Nathan, you've seen all the episodes, right? All the variable verses are different, right?
I would say that is correct.
Okay, that is good to know.
I could be wrong. There could be one repeat.
I would hope that they would do. There's only 13,
but I think they're all different. I don't remember any.
Yeah, there's no repeats of "Here's the show's namey."
No, there's no classic one like that.
Boy, "Here's the show's namey." That one got said a lot on the original show.
Yeah,
I was like,
I wish they.
That and Citizen Caney were probably the two most.
Citizen Caney. I wanted to see what if you listeners out there, Animaniacs Trivia Meisters. I'm going to say that "Here's the show's namey" was probably the one that was said the most. I think that probably goes without saying. But what was the second? Does anybody have a list?
I think it's Citizen Caney.
So I know Kelly's saying it's Citizen Caney. I want to know. I want to know. I want to know for absolutely sure. So if you know, let us know.
I thought we were keeping a spreadsheet or something.
Nathan has a spreadsheet, doesn't he?
I have a spreadsheet. I didn't write down each of the things, but I bet there's one already online too. So I could probably find one by the end of the episode if you.
Oh yeah, well, okay, listeners, if you can write an email
before the end of the episode,
if you can go back in time and let us know,
I'll
that'd be
try
great.
to find it first.
We'll see if Nathan. Yeah, this is an impossible race. Is basically what we're telling us. Okay, well, let's.
You don't know if I'll find it, but if I find it.
Well, today's variable verse is part Great Daney.
Part Great Daney.
And Wacko kind of looks like I don't know, what's that? Who's that cartoon Great Dane? Marmaduke. That's what he kind of looked like to me, which I guess would make sense because Marmaduke is a Great Dane. I could not understand what he was saying other than Great Daney. I did not hear the part. So I'm glad that that's listed here in the notes. And I
I
don't
didn't
know.
even hear Great Danny. I was like, why is my closed captioning not on? And I couldn't figure out how to turn it on.
Yeah, I couldn't turn the closed captioning on either. I don't know what it was with my phone, but I could turn on the audio descriptions, but not the closed captioning for some reason. So I don't know what's going on, Hulu. Okay, Nathan, did you find it?
Yeah, the second one is Pinky and the Brainy with 9 different episodes that say it.
What was number 3?
That one's hard for me to figure out. These aren't in order.
Oh, no.
Looks like number 3 is probably How Urbani or Citizen Caney were tied with 6 or 5 each. So
Okay.
this is fascinating. And yeah, here's the show name. It has a bunch, like 20. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never they did that. What was that, Kelly?
That one doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's our variable verse. Can't even talk today. Variable verse discussion for today. Let's go ahead and move on to the cutening. And The Cutening was written by Jess Latcher and Andrew Barbeau, and it was directed by Brett Varon. And Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens here in The Cutening?
Okay. Well, Dot and the Warners, the Warner brothers, are hanging out in the water tower, and I don't know what's wrong with them. They're like moving about like zombies. Wackos drinking cereal out of a straw because they don't have any spoons, and they're almost out of milk, and everything behind them looks grimy and dirty. I mean, it's like they're having this major depressive episode or something. I don't know. They're just not themselves.
I think we should mention that Wacko's not just drinking milk with a straw, but he's doing it out of his like belly button, I guess. It's really gross.
A cereal bowl, but yeah, it's a lot of gross stuff kind of in the background.
When did the world become so unbearable?
So Dot is like, what is going on? I'm gonna eat this cupcake. I've been saving it, and the cupcake's talking to her, and trying to tell her it's not the best idea, but she eats it because the cupcake doesn't want to be eaten, and she eats it, and then she changes, she transforms, and she gets like sparkly, cute eyes. She looks like a Sanrio character or something. Japanese animation kind of thing, and I mean, she is cute.
This cupcake is the cutest thing I've ever seen, and I've been saving it for a moment like this. I just need some cuteness in my life right now. You don't mind, do you? Actually... Look at that. The world's a little cuter already.
And she's like, eating this cute cupcake has basically magnified my cuteness. So now I have like these mega cute powers. And, she like shoots rainbows out of her eyes and, starts transforming the water tower. And she looks at Yakko and Wacker, and they're like, no. And she zaps them too. And so they start looking cute, and everything's shiny and sparkly and smiley and colorful. And then they just start changing, everything. And she starts singing this song. It's really, it's a cute song. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. It's cute.
K-pop. I mean, I know in the...
I don't know. It reminded me of some of the Sailor Moon songs.
Yeah.
And I've got some like pop rendition versions of some of the Sailor Moon songs. So I don't know if it's more Japanese, like J-pop, I think.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about K-pop. All I know is like Sailor Moon music. So
I know K-pop is popular, and it's something I don't listen to. And
And I think some of the groups have actually come mainstream here in the United States. Like I think there was one on the radio the other day. So
what's the B?
The K-pop band.
What's the B? So I don't know. Here's the part of the show where you have old people talking about K-pop. What's that band that starts with a B? I think
it's BTS, which is what I saw on the radio the other day. I was like, isn't that the K-pop band?
Yes,
so
it's BTS.
I don't know. And if that's the case, then they're super popular.
Yeah, very popular. I don't know, because the reason I ask is that I remember in the it was the Ottawa International Film Festival thing with Wellesley Wild was talking about how they go to different people this season for music, and they mentioned K-pop, and I was like, I wonder if this is the K-pop thing that they were talking about that they went to.
It may be.
Anyway, so they do that whole song, and a lot of stuff happens in that song. In fact, I think the song might be the majority of the episode or the segment. I think, right?
Yeah, the runtime I think is probably mostly song.
Yeah, and it gets to a point where it's just too much. I mean, like I said, everything, even the earth is smiling and kind of dancing, and everything's kind of moving and dancing in the background, which looks really cool. I love the way it looks and how everything kind of bounces and beat with the music. It's really neat. There's one point where they're in a bubble and they're just kind of bouncing in the bubble, and it's really cool. And but it gets to be too much. I think they say that they've done it for like a month or something.
28 days later.
And they're like, we just can't do it anymore. What can we do? And so they decide that if they do something gross, because we got to get back to the gross stuff, then maybe it'll reverse the cuteness. And so there's a pigeon, not a god pigeon.
No, unfortunately. Although I guess fortunate that the god pigeon wasn't this sick, because this pigeon looks like it's about to die at any moment.
And so they grab the pigeon and lick it, and like even lick its eyeball. And I mean, it's gross. And it looks like they've turned back to normal, but then the camera pans out and they have their heads, their heads are fine, but now their bodies are different components of the pigeon body. And it's like, well, it's an improvement.
Yeah.
So,
close enough.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. And yes, of course, the water tower threw up all over the world. Should mention that to get everything.
So much vomit in this show.
Yeah.
Vomit's funny, Kelly. Jeez.
Oh boy. Well, before we get to our references and our discussion and stuff, I guess I might as well bring this up right now. They had one of our listeners actually said they have a comment about this particular one. They had an issue with the cutening. This is one of our listeners. This is Mario, who is one of our YouTube listeners. I guess YouTube watchers. I don't. And we have a bunch of people that like listening to this show on YouTube. I don't understand it. To me, I like walking around, but there are people.
Well, if you buy a subscription or something, you can listen to it.
Maybe they're all YouTube.
Watching it. Yeah,
YouTube.
If you're already paying for it, then
you might as well. Then listen to us on YouTube, I guess. But I don't. Hey, people on YouTube, hi. But I don't get it.
We like you.
We like you very much. Listen wherever you can. But I don't even think our full library is up on YouTube either. So if you really want to get into every episode that we have, check us out on a podcast player or not. Just listen. Glad you're listening. But at any rate, Mario put a comment here on YouTube. And he said, I had a comment, like you do read before you do the next episode. Well, it's too late. We already started, but here he goes.
Doing it during it. So it's
during it. It still counts. He says, in the first cartoon, the cutening, Dot makes everything cuter. And I just realized that how different this Dot is compared to the original Dot. He's basically saying the original Dot would not like everything to be cute because that would diminish her favorite thing about herself. And Dot in the original was really, he says this, not me. Dot in the original was really self-centered, and she always brought attention to herself and her cuteness. And that characteristic is what made her my favorite Warner sibling. She had the funniest dynamic with the other two Warners. She likes to inflate her ego, and Yakko and Wacko like to bring her down to earth with comedy. Remember those cartoons like I'm Cute and Cutie and the Beast? And this characteristic of hers was not always funny, as she would often use it to manipulate people in not so funny ways, at least for me.
Wait, but that was a funny way.
No, I thought it was funny. Mr. in the cagey wagey. Yeah.
The lollipop.
Dot in he finishes up by saying, Dot in the reboot has lost her ego and her dynamic with the brothers, making her more of a leader and less a funny character. Dot and Wacko now have a similar dynamic with Yakko, as Yakko will try to explain something, but Wacko and Dot shut him down. The new dynamic with Yakko is really not as funny as the old dynamic with Dot, since Yakko is not doing something egotistical like the old Dot. So anyway, he's just a little upset that it's he wanted to express his what he said is his sadness that the dynamics changed a little bit. And I actually did think
psychoanalysis.
Oh, say that again, Kelly.
I said that's interesting, the psychoanalysis.
Yeah, I totally went over my head for this, but I could see his points. And I actually was a little surprised that they actually did this episode, especially because I kind of get the feeling that this was written when the lyrics were Dot is cute and Yakko yaks, like they hadn't changed it perhaps, because Dot is totally bringing
cute.
Up I'm cute and I need things cute around me.
And Yakko even says I'm the one that yaks or whatever.
Exactly, referring to Dot being the one that's cute. So it's kind of like, okay, this episode must have been written before they decided to change the lyrics to Dot has wit, which is still kind of a scratch my head moment, but I can understand, I guess, why they would do that. But it kind of makes episodes like this a little weird when you're kind of bringing up that Dot likes cute things, and that's part of her character. But at any rate, references, let's talk about them. One of the things in the wiki that we were kind of talking about before we started recording was that it says that this is a reference to M. Night Shyamalan's, what is it, The Happening? Yeah,
the title, The Cutening, might be.
Like, but
Kelly, what else could it be? Yeah.
Well, Kelly, what did you? I think Kelly's theory is better though. What's that?
Just as valid, at least.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I thought it might have more to do with like Highlander, like the quickening.
Quickening, yeah.
If you try to pull like words that sound similar, I've never seen the Highlander movie, so I don't know. I'm no expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I were to think about a word that sounds like the cutening, that's probably what would have come to my mind before the happening.
Yeah, I agree, though. I think the quickening is more, even though this has, there's not anything about there can be only one or anything like this in this. In fact, everything is cute. So Dot, if anything, Dot should say there can be only one, being her. But if
because that would be more like Dot.
Yeah, that would make more sense, but they didn't. So whatever. But that's, I mean, gosh, is there anything else here? I don't really think anything.
Dr. Scratch and Sniff's in it.
Oh, Dr. Scratch and Sniff does make his first appearance of the reboot. And he doesn't
almost
say anything.
Only.
Yeah. We have to enjoy him while we can, I suppose, even if it's for just a couple seconds in this one. There were different voices for the song at different points. I think Jess Harnell, does Wacko's, and I can't really tell if it's Rob or not. There's a lot of auto-tuning in this song, but I can tell that Tress, I don't think, is doing Dot's singing. Yeah. I think that goes without saying.
Nissy Hale does her voice.
Not familiar with her, but
I think she also did it in Reboot It.
Probably.
So
yeah. And they do mention here that the transition saying 28 days later is a reference to the movie 28 Days Later, which I suppose could be true. Maybe.
A zombie movie, right?
Yeah. So in a way, everything's become a kind of a zombie-ish kind of horrific kind of thing. Like Yakko has sugar coming out of his eyes, which was quite weird. But let's talk about anything you liked about this first segment. Let's start with you, Nathan.
I like the song. I thought the song was a lot of fun. It's a very catchy song. and I thought the animation was cute of everyone that looked like it. I mean, I don't know if it necessarily is like an Animaniacs cartoon necessarily.
Kind of felt like Teen Titans Go, didn't it?
Yeah, like at times I'm like, it's not necessarily like, but you know, I don't want to put limits on the Animaniacs, the Warners, you know, so it's definitely slightly outside of their zone, but it was still a lot of fun to watch, and I enjoyed this. It's probably my favorite song of the whole season, I think.
Oh wow,
maybe.
Same.
The song is very earwormy for me, which
yeah,
I don't think. Which to me, I thought at first I heard it was kind of fun, but now I don't like it because it's just been I've just heard in my ears all day. What if? What if? What if? Just every day, like no more.
It's cute though.
Not so cute. It's like 28 days later, I'll still have this song in my head. I'll be like Yakko. I'll be not having fun
and licking. So that's the worst part.
Yeah, it was really gross. That's what I didn't like. I mean, this episode. I mean, this whole season has a lot of gross stuff, and this one really. I think this honestly, we'll talk obviously as we go along, but really, this whole episode has a lot of just grotesque stuff, and it really kind of turns me off of a lot of stuff of this whole season. Mm-hmm. But especially this one, that pigeon, it's like it's just a pussy eyeball and
it could have been a good feather.
I hope not, because again,
I mean, like I feel like
you're saying that it could.
I'm saying they could have done like Squid and then made it less gross and been like,
yeah.
I still don't think you should be licking Squid, but maybe like petting him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's that pussy eyeball. It's just what it's like. It's just this. Some people, I'm sure, very much enjoy the gross out stuff. It's not me. But what about you, Kelly? What did you? I mean, you say you like the song. Was there anything else? Yeah. I mean, any other particular moments in that song, or anything else about this first segment that you liked?
Well, I think I kind of addressed it all when I was doing the summary. But really, it was really good up until all the vomit and everything, and I just felt like, and then of course the bird, they just kind of went overboard with all that. And I'm like you, it really turned me off because I was like, oh, this is going really great, and it's cute, and it's wonderful, and fun, and it was like, ugh, gross.
Yeah, it was just too gross for me. It starts off I mean, I don't want to see Yakko like snot coming out of his nose, and apparently he needs to shave now. Like Yakko has totally hit puberty, and he has a 5 o'clock shadow, and he's just different things about it that I don't know, just gross. Just everything's gross, and not. I'm sure there are kids that like this stuff, which that's the audience. I think definitely they were targeting for this specific segment a lot. But no, I did not like it. Even the song couldn't save this segment for me, as cute as that song is. Did not like it. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next segment right here, which is Close Encounters of the Worst Kind. And Close Encounters of the Worst Kind was written by Greg White and Jess Latcher and Andrew Barbeau, and it was directed once again by Brett Varon. And Nathan, why don't you tell us what happens here in Close Encounters of the Worst Kind?
All right. Well, Brain has a new way to take over the world, which is to have someone else do it, namely some aliens. So he sends out a video out into the cosmos telling aliens how easy it would be to invade Earth, and that he would be the perfect person to take over the Earth once they have finished conquering it. He could rule in their stead once I don't know what his theory was there, but he sends this video out, and he realizes that Pinky taped over the end of his message with a song, "I want to dance, dance, dance till my limbs fall off." But the song goes out into space, and wouldn't you know it, some aliens hear this tape, and Brain's excited because, hey, we got some alien invaders that are going to come over and take over the Earth.
Hi there, my name is... But you can call me Gabriella. You must be Brain.
I am the Brain, and this is my underling, Pinky.
Zort!
Oh, look at you. You've learned the basic salutations of our native tongue. That's so sweet. It's actually pronounced... You really want to roll all your tongues.
Enough.
And he's like, what do you want to do first? I'm like, let's go to the mall. And they're like, all right, yes, we'll get you dressed up like humans. And what should we do now? Like, let's go to the food court. And they start eating, American food. And he's like, I don't know why they don't want to take over the world. He doesn't say this, but this is probably what he's thinking.
He's trying to justify every move they make is, oh yes, of course you need sustenance.
This is a good idea. Yes. What a great idea.
Ah, yes. Researching the most economical means by which to nourish their enslaved human workforce. They're really quite brilliant, aren't they?
There's the ketchup!
Let's go do karaoke. And he keeps trying to figure out, how is this supposed to help take over the world? But, he's giving them the benefit of the doubt. They end up doing, again, I Want to Dance Until My Limbs Fall Off song with Pinky. So they have a little fun.
I wanna dance. I wanna dance. Woo! I wanna dance, dance, dance until my limbs fall off. I wanna dance. I wanna dance. I wanna dance, dance, dance until my limbs fall off. Whoa, whoa. I wanna dance until my limbs fall off.
Brain has an idea of using their spaceship fuel to take over the world, and then that's when they tell him, actually, we just want to sing. We came here because we want to be on dance competition shows or something. Brain decides to take matters in his own hands, so he goes to the ship and he tries to take over the world using their spaceship, but it crashes, and scientists, they grab Pinky and the Brain and take him, and they start studying him in the lab. Like, wow, these aliens have the exact DNA composition of Earth mice. This is crazy. And meanwhile, on TV, we see the aliens, Gabriella, and I don't know if the other alien had a name or not. They're singing on TV, and no one notices that they're aliens, even though whenever a microphone falls down, they do a weird screeching noise.
Yeah. The end, right? I think that's it. Well, they have a foam party, I guess.
Foam party!
Yeah,
in the trailers.
Turn that off, Pinky. We have to prepare for tomorrow night.
Why? What are we going to do tomorrow night, Brain?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the...
Whee! Foam party!
Yeah, from the trailer, we get to finally see what's going on with that. So there you go. There's obviously the title is referencing one of Spielberg's greatest films, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Spielberg.
Yes. And, I remember seeing that movie as a kid. A very scary movie for me, at least.
You haven't seen it as an adult?
I haven't seen it lately. I think I saw it 10 years ago, maybe 15. I know. And they just had a Blu-ray, or 4K transfer or something. I heard it was really good.
They had it back in theaters a couple of years ago too.
Yes.
So I went and saw it on the big screen for the first time.
And did they hand out mashed potatoes to people as you're walking in?
No, that would have been great though, because that's one of my favorite scenes. It's hilarious.
This means something.
So good.
Well, anyway, they should have had mashed potatoes in this segment to tie it in.
There are a lot of missed opportunities.
Oh,
yeah, they could have been at the food court eating mashed, and this means something.
Well, the aliens, I will say, I did like how they went for totally new designs for aliens. Usually we think of, I think Steven Spielberg's put a lot of the people's, I think a lot of quote unquote alien abductions of descriptions of the aliens can be filtered down to probably Steven Spielberg putting out Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because he put out those typical gray aliens that we know so well now these days. And some psychologists I know have theorized that a lot of the, when you have sleep paralysis or things like that, and you think you're being abducted by aliens, but in fact you may not be. They describe those similar aliens. So those aliens have been, the design of those have been kind of put into our brains as a culture for some time now. So they did totally new designs. They just kind of float. They don't even So I kind of like that. I liked how they were different than I've seen really any aliens on cartoons or movies before. I guess the main thing to mention, this is the one that there was, we'll call it an adult party line, was initially on this episode for when Brain says to the aliens to call this number, which I think it's very funny that Brain is trying to get the aliens to call a 1-800 number, or I think even mail something by postage, just by the normal mail to get in contact with them. It's like, Brain, I don't think that's the way it works.
The video is pretty funny how much it is like a public access like video, very much in that same.
Yeah, even in that last blue frame, it's like blue with a white or yellow lettering. I forget which, but it looks very cheap, very 1980s or 90s. Call now, Time Life CD collection or something. It looks very much like that. But anyway, the number that was initially put on there went to a number that you would not want kids to call, so they had to pull the episode and put a new number up. So there you go. But it happened pretty quickly. I think within 24 hours they fixed it, which that was nice of them to do that.
Pulled it and fixed it within about 24 hours. It was
yeah. But let's go ahead and talk about any of the things that you thought were funny or whatever. Nathan, let's start with you.
Did you recognize Gabriella's voice?
I didn't, but I looked at the credits afterwards and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Who does Gabriella's voice, Nathan?
Lauren Lapkus. She also did the cupcake.
That's right. And if folks out there don't know who Lauren Lapkus is, she's one of the funniest people, I think, alive.
Yeah, she's very funny.
She's been on Nathan and I's one of our favorite podcasts, Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah, she's a regular on there. She has
Freedom.
her own podcast. Freedom's very funny, and she's a movie star. She's in Jurassic World, and
she was in the Wrong Missy on Netflix,
and Oranges, the New Black, season 1.
Oranges, the New Black.
I just saw her in Happiest Season. She was in that movie even.
Yeah, so she's in a lot of, and she was in Holmes and Watson. She's been in a lot of comedies and stuff. Usually is the people side characters, but she really is just a hilarious actress, and really encourage people to well, her voice in this is she's very good at doing like just crazy voices that this is her just very toned down normal voice. It doesn't even necessarily even sound like her, I don't think.
Yeah, I was like, this voice sounds familiar. Like I know this voice from something, but like, so I had to look it up, and then I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so that was cool to see her listed on there.
We Kelly, get her on the show.
Oh yeah, right. Actually, if you listen to her podcast, there's one or two times her Lauren, what was her with special guest Lauren Lapkus. That's what it's called, and I don't even think people can listen to the old episodes. I think they're all on Stitcher Premium now. So if you're a Stitcher Premium subscriber, I am. You could listen to old episodes. The Animanicast Twitter asked her a couple questions, and I think they got at least one or two of them got read on her podcast. So
nice.
We're connected to Lauren Lapkus.
We'll get her on the show.
Yeah, it should be no problem. But Kelly, what are some things you liked in the Pinky and the Brain segment?
I thought it was funny when they wanted to go to the mall. It reminded me of Robin Sparkles from How I Met Your Mother.
I thought of the same thing.
Yeah. And, and how quintessentially American that is, or at least used to be. Malls are sort of out of fad now, but that was like the thing to do. And they made a big thing about it in Stranger Things. And, the mall was the place.
Yeah, the mall was very pop. This mall is not struggling at all in this Pinky and the Brain episode. There's a lot of things going on at it. So good for them. Good for this cartoon mall. Not as big as that one in Tiny Toon Adventures with Plucky in the elevator.
I was just thinking about that one.
Yeah, that one was huge. So anyway, but yeah, there was some good stuff in here. I mean, there was I like Pinky in the beer glass, which was. I think he got a little bit drunk. He looked a little bit drunk when we were leaving. And I guess my favorite line would probably be when what's the alien's name again?
Gabriella.
When Gabriella asks him, she goes, all this great stuff.
You came here because of my message.
No, we came here because of that jamming tune you played us.
I told you, hit of the summer.
Brain, we should have been honest. We're more interested in exploring than pillaging. Do you really want to destroy all this wonder and beauty?
Yes.
Just because it really is. Again, they kind of like this episode again is showing a lot of gross stuff. Not as much as the first part, but still, I don't like the human designs in this reboot at all. From the moment I saw the first one, I was like, these humans look disgusting. And there's a lot of weird looking humans in this cartoon. So yeah, I would want to destroy this, at least if I was the brain, I'd want to at least destroy the reboot designs of the humans. So I'm with him on that. Let's see, Kelly, Nathan, anything else you wanted to mention that you liked in this Pinky the Brain segment?
Flamingo legs backward. Wait, I forget. What was Pinky's line?
What restroom would he use?
Yeah, there you go. It's a good question.
It is a good question.
Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Brain, but if my knees bent backwards like an ostrich, which restroom would I use?
Well, I guess let's go ahead and finish it all up then with a little segment here called Equal Time.
Welcome to the Animaniacs 2020 Election Special. I'm Yakko Warner, and I'm reading off a teleprompter. And now I'm looking into a different camera. Let's go live to election correspondent Dot Warner, who is at the polls in Iowa.
That's right, Yakko. Here I am in Iowa, the state we pretend to care about for 1 January every 4 years. I'm cold and lonely, just like everyone else in Iowa.
Fascinating.
Equal Time was written by Jess Latcher and Andrew Barbeau and Wellesley Wild, and was directed by Brett Varon. And if there was ever a segment that made you say, yeah, I think they plan to get this out before November 20th, it's this one. This is talking about the 2020 election. You know, the thing that already passed by the time the show premiered. And they're going over all the different third-party candidates, the ones that you've never heard of. So they get into, there's like they don't list them here in the notes. Here,
it's like the pool party
the
surprise party. It's supposed to be like parties that puns on the word party.
Yeah,
I think it was just surprise and pool party. Was there another one?
It felt like there was more, but I guess
it was what was the drone party? I don't know what that was. The Russian party.
The Russians, I did. Yeah, more Russian
the American
humor.
Party.
Yeah. They show Johnny Thanksgiving. Right, the candidate being Johnny Thanksgiving, who is a robot, who's actually, Anyway.
Oh, you give me fright as I'm set about my customary American chores. Hello, I am Adams Johnson, good neighbor, nice husband, born in South Virginia. Anyway, I am vote for Johnny Thanksgiving.
Johnny Thanksgiving is not drone. He is man who gives utmost leadership ability to party.
So, yeah, I already mentioned in the last one that I don't like the human designs, and so why not have an episode or at least a segment that just focuses mainly on the humans? You can kind of get what I thought about this segment. I didn't like it. They kind of get into this. Yakko and Wacko have some little commentary between the third-party candidates, and at one point, Wacko sings a little bit of Wacko's America.
Now, over to Wacko with the electoral map. How's it shaping up, Wacko?
Oh, so boring. Hey, I could sing my song to spice things up. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Columbus is the capital of Ohio. Oh, it's all the same.
And then kind of does this, semi-amusing thing of eating all the states and saying he's a monster. Which, was nice.
I ate all the states. I'm a monster.
Now, that's the kind of biting analysis people tune into Animaniacs for, folks.
Tucker Carlson, or at least a caricature of him, is shown for the second time this episode. So it's kind of messy and not that funny to me. But what did you guys think? I don't care about how I thought. What did you think? Kelly, let's start with you.
I didn't find it particularly funny myself. I mean, I did like that he was starting to sing the States song, and I knew before he even got very far that he was probably going to be cut off in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's what they do on the show.
And he wouldn't give us that.
No.
And I thought the Johnny Thanksgiving was kind of funny.
I really don't like that woman's design, that Russian woman with the teeth and.
Oh no, I didn't like the designs, but I thought it was funny and drone pretending to be Wacko, wearing his hat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, I didn't laugh or anything.
Nathan, did you laugh? Were you rolling on the floor, or what was it?
I think I liked the surprise. Some of the things the surprise party yelled, I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah,
I was like, oh yeah, people do yell that. I think I can't.
All cats are female or something.
Yeah, there's some. I was like, that's something silly. Yeah. I mean, I probably smirked at some of it. I don't know if I laughed, but that
was interesting. He yelled at the grandma and gave her a heart attack. And the guy who yelled and said, "Hey, that's my grandma," ends up becoming his financial manager or something.
Surprise! At the end of it, it's a surprise party. You never know what's going to happen.
Said, man, that's a twist ending. But yeah, it wasn't. But I didn't laugh. I mean, I honestly, it was just like, okay.
What about the end when he's like more human than the last guy who was president?
Yeah. Again, yeah, this was just kind of so ironic that they're talking about Russia rigging the election when we all know it was Hugo Chavez. So boy, oh boy, did they predict that wrong, huh? Darn Hugo Chavez, you're always messing things up for us. Ha ha ha. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to our water tower rating. Well, what do you guys think? Out of 5 water towers, how many would you give this episode of the Animaniacs Reboot? Kelly, let's start with you.
Oh, I think I'll give it a 3. I really liked the cutening, like I said, right up until the very end. And I didn't really like the Pinky and the Brain one all that much. It was maybe even my least favorite so far of Pinky and the Brain. But that one's kind of been the strongest of the two.
Yeah.
For the most part. So I was surprised. But yeah, I think the first segment really shone the brightest in this episode. And like we said, the election, it was just a short little bit anyways. So yeah, 3, but it's mostly for the cutening.
Okay. And Nathan, what about you?
Yeah, I think the Warner's segment was the strongest segment in this one for sure.
Which is so weird. It's so funny that we're like, you know what? It was better than Pinky and the Brain, which is usually, like it's so hard to it's weird to say that, like just thinking of like the original series, or they would at least be on par with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, or now we're in the reboot where the Pinky and the Brain segments usually stand far above the Warner segments. To say that the Warner's is a stronger one, it's like, oh, that is interesting.
This is so weird. What a strange. But still, I'm gonna go with 2.5. For a lot of the same reasons. I did like that Lauren Lapkus was the alien, but I can't just give her points just for existing. So and I was between 3 and 2.5, so I'll just go with 2.5.
Well, and I'll keep going downhill. I'll give it a 2.
Okay.
I remember seeing this episode originally was in our media release, and I was like, okay. I don't know. I just kind of got bored with it. The second I had to watch this, I watched it two or 3 more times for this review. And I just was like, it's just boring. Like, I just am not laughing. And as much as, like we said, like Lauren Lapkus is so great. And I remember I was just thinking, oh man, she must have been so happy when she got the call that I'm going to be on the new Animaniacs. And then she got to be in a really subpar, one.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt sorry for that. But yeah, just the song was nice, but it got really old for me, at least. I don't like it as much as I did the first time listening to it. And I'll be singing it in my head for the next 28 days or so. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's a strong 2 for me. Well, let's go ahead and get to our contact information. Nathan, where can people get in contact with you online?
Oh, Joey, I'm on Twitter. JangoFT, that's me.
All right. And Kelly, what about you?
I'm also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS, or email me, Kelly at BigShinyRobot.com.
All right. And as for the Animanicast, we're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And of course, you can reach us over on our Discord channel as well. If you can get a welcome link by going to discord.animanicast.com. That way you can talk to not only us, but to other RetroZap writers and podcasters as well, talking about anything pop culture. It's a great place to go for positive conversations, which is, of course, very hard to find these days online. So head on over if you are interested. Love to see you there. All right, that'll do it for today's episode. So for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
I'll try anything once.